Here we are, live coming at you, the 10,000, the dream team here. Kim, Tracy, Doug joining us today. So welcome. We'll let some people tune in here for a quick second. Okay, so the topic for today, we had two things we wanted to talk about. We have this cool terms sheet that was created that Kim shared yesterday.
Yes,
So
thank you.
Kim, what in the world would I use that terms sheet for? Have we taken what do we got on that terms sheet here?
I think we have two. We have one for star title, which I think is super important. One of the most questions I get from agents is, how do I understand title? So that's a really nice cheat sheet that it gives you just the basic term. Do you have it up there, Paul?
Yeah, it's actually the two most recent posts in the classroom. There are star title glossary of terms and the 5-star real estate terms.
Yep. So I would encourage agents to just understand that language. One of the things that even myself, after 20 years, I send it over to my client and they go, okay, what's that mean? So we posted those and I'm trying to pull them up here.
I wish I had this when I first started.
Yeah. So it's just basic terms. And then I always encourage you to sit down with a star title rep and just understand, or we have some links too, where we have done a video on that, but I'm sorry, I'm just trying to pull them up here.
Yep, I've got it pulled up here too. So like on the star title one, we have like, what's Alta mean? When everyone says, hey, I need an Alta commitment, or, you know, when someone mentions things like grantor or grantee, I know it's kind of funny, but people forget which one's which. You have, you know, what's a quit claim deed? When is that used? What's an owner policy? What does it mean when someone mentions a warranty deed, right? These are all terms we have listed in here to help give you guys some more information. So you guys, as Kim puts it, you guys can be the pro.
Yep.
And then in 5-star one, we have the same kind of deal here. It's got a lot more things like when someone says, what's an ABA, affiliated business arrangement? When would you use that? What's it for? What does APR stand for? So some cool terms in here, jump in here, check them out. We were thinking maybe you guys should start your mornings with a cup of coffee and a bunch of terms.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
Just the way everyone wants to start their
The
morning.
nice part about it is having a relationship with Star Title is that Star Title is like an extension of 5-star real estate. So when we talk about the 5-star family, this is an extension of that 5-star family. So if you run into a scenario where you don't know, you don't understand, these people are your friends. Pick up the phone and call them. They're in a partnership together with you. They want you to win. They want you to be the pro. They want you to look really good to your clients. So when you call them and like, I think I told this before, I remember calling Greg one day, like, what is an EMD? They just asked me for it. Like, I didn't know. And then after he said, it's earnest money deposit, I felt so dumb, but guess what? I didn't know. And you don't know until you need to know, right? So that was at the beginning of a transaction. You need to know what an EMD is. So, but knowing what an Alta statement is, and it's not a word that we use very much, but a lot of agents that are older are still using that term Alta statement because most people are calling it the closing statement now.
So part of the battle in this business is learning the language. Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the Muskegon office yesterday, it was kind of interesting because I walked in the middle of the afternoon. There were probably 10 agents in the office at one time, sitting at that center table. If you've ever been in the Muskegon office, sitting there having this same conversation with who? The Star Title person. And these were people that were in the business a month, just started. There was somebody that was there 10 years. Same questions. Again, it was just kind of that whole scenario that, again, you don't know until you ask. And it was very interesting to see how many people that even have been in the business 5 and 10 years are still asking some of those same questions. So there are no silly questions. Please, that's what the Star Title people are there for. So
just this morning, I was, you know, I've always been a learner. I've never stopped learning. It's just always, you're always learning, especially in this business. So we pended a building with 5-star and it's commercial. It's not my expertise. So I just completed one and I learned a lot about phase 1, phase 2. Today I was on there, like what's an estoppel certificate? You know, so get on, look at those terms that you don't know, read about them. When do I use it? What does it mean? Was our best friend. And that's one of the ways that we become the pro, even if we don't know, right? I love Tracy always uses that term, be the pro.
I actually got it from Greg, so that's, it's,
Yep.
but I use it, I really use it all the time, because I mean, that's who we need to be, and it's a process, it's a learning, like you said, Kim.
Right.
Okay.
Just know that we're always here to answer questions. I've had 3 calls this morning. One is an agent saying, you know, I've not done vacant land. This is what I know. How can you help me? Another one's saying, how can I win? Tell me what you're doing to win. So I give them the help so that when they get in front of their client, you get in front of your client, you can be the pro.
Yep.
And never let them see you sweat, right? Just be the pro, ask us questions. We're here to help you learn how to win in these situations, right?
Well, now you tell me that. Now that I'm sweating over here.
Call me, Doug. I'll tell you how to win.
Yeah, you know, I think
Coaching.
I think that what's to finish this portion out, I think it really is important to build a relationship with that lender and that title company. I mean, through my entire career in real estate, even if I have a client who's working with a different lender and a different title company because of the certain preference they might have, I will still call my go-to lender if I'm like, this doesn't seem right. What do you think? They're walking me through. Even though I'm dealing with a different lender here, I'm like, I'm not getting good information from this person. I'll lean on that lender. I'll lean on that title company over here, Star or whatever lender I'm working with, to give me that guidance. Even though they're not involved in the transaction, they'll still give you some good advice. So build those relationships, stay close to those people. They're huge, and study these terms. But we were talking about this yesterday. You can study these terms, you can memorize them, right? You can have all these wonderful relationships, but you can still do no business. This is the truth. And so we wanted to talk to you guys today about what it means to follow up. And a lot of times when you hear like, hey, what are you doing for follow-up? You go, well, I don't have any clients, so who am I following up with? I haven't closed many deals. Who am I supposed to be following up with? And this is kind of the misconception that you're only supposed to follow up with past clients. Well, if you're newer or you're a year in the business or 2 years in the business, you have a limited number of past clients. So we have to expand what this word follow-up means. And it really means more, who are you communicating with about real estate? My father, Greg, used to have this saying. He's like, if you didn't talk to at least one person a day that either didn't know you were in real estate or you created a new real estate conversation or something every single day, then you're not actually in business.
Mm-hmm.
You are being hired and fired every single time you close a transaction. You are out of a job.
Yeah.
So we have to continually be building this up. And another thing I want to say before we jump into some ideas here is when you think of follow-up, sometimes people are like, well, I don't really want to bug my family and friends. You know, I don't really know anyone that's buying or selling right now. But here's the deal. You don't have to bug those people, but you need to communicate with those people, because those people, every single one of us knows between 4 to 5 people who are going to buy and sell in the next 12 months. Even though that person that you know, let's say your uncle or your friend from college, already bought a home last year, so they're not going to move for another maybe 7 years. They know every single year 4 or 5 people are going to sell. And if you aren't getting those referrals, if they're not giving them your name, that's what we're trying to do now.
Yep.
That's how you build a successful business.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you guys do it? How did you guys do this?
I mean, I'm just thinking, like, I remember the 7 levels of marketing, I think it was. And that one was about like having a place where I like the word connect, that you connect. Because connecting can be past clients, it can be current clients, it could be friends, it could be, but what connecting is connecting is conversation. And so where are you connecting? If you don't have business, who are you having coffee with? Like, if you don't have a lot of money, you can't afford to take people out for drinks or whatever, coffee is cheap. And just by inviting somebody to have coffee, I can tell you what's going to come up, and that's going to be real estate, because they know what you do. And suddenly you have a position of, well, let me tell you about the market. I mean, they're going to direct the question towards you because they know what you're doing. So when you're thinking about how you're connecting with people, think about just simple ways to do that. And you know what? Doing it in person is very purposeful. It's different than a phone call, because you have the emotional connection with someone when you're with them. But I would say you need to be having coffee with people.
And if nothing else, it's always kind of interesting, because we always talk about that time when you get on the phone. And I'm talking to a lot of people that are just getting into the business right now about what's first. You know, Doug, I don't have that big of a sphere. You know, who do I talk to? Well, let's start with that group. Okay. Do they know that you sell real estate? Why don't you give them a call? And I'm old fashioned. I love to pick up the phone, give them a call. Just let them know I'm in real estate. It's easy to start a conversation this day and age about real estate, right, gang? Because
everyone's curious.
Everybody wants to talk about real estate. Even if they're not ready to move yet, they still want to know what's going on in the market. So those are the things that I'm finding, that as people make those calls, again, take the necessary time just to let them, especially if you're new in the business, let them know what you're doing now. Hey, and my goal is to help 10 people buy or sell a house this year. Who do you know that needs my help?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to sound cheesy. It doesn't have to sound salesy.
It doesn't be canned.
Correct. It can be you. And that's exactly how this all starts.
Doug,
So,
don't you feel that sometimes even if they say no, because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to sell, but they're always willing to give you their friends or their family.
exactly.
They're very gracious that maybe they are like, oh, don't do that. But oh, do you have a friend or family, anybody thinking about it? And I find that they're very gracious at helping their friends. Everybody wants to help somebody, right?
Yep, for sure.
Yep. You know, I think that a lot of the hesitation we see from newer realtors is the question of like, well, what do I say? How do I even start a conversation? And so, you know, we've had Tim Creech on, who's a great guy, who's got a really solid strategy. If you haven't, you should watch the Tim Creech video that we did. We recorded an interview with him where he runs us through how he prospects. And he shared some of the Ferry family. There's some, I don't know if it was Tom Ferry or Mike Ferry that he uses, was one of the two. And they have free scripts for this. But I approach it a little bit differently. So I try to have like, I just, the way that I did it back when I was kind of grooving and making it happen when I was selling real estate, I was a little different. So for example, I wasn't really calling I wasn't calling randomly. I was sort of calling like, one idea that I had was, all right, so I don't really know what to say, but I want to talk to this person about real estate, right? That's my goal. Yeah. So you could call up your family and your friends and say, hey, I'm trying to figure out what people are curious about. And I want to do some updates. I want to try and create like a little thing where I can update people on what's going on. Like, what kind of questions do you have about real estate? Like, what kind of questions, what do you wonder about? Like, what are you thinking about? Like, give me like 1 or 2 questions that you have about real estate market. And I want to try and figure out if I can answer those. And I guarantee you that's all you have to say. And next thing you know, you guys are having a full-fledged conversation about real estate. And without even recognizing it, you're becoming a leader in the real estate industry in that person's mind, because you're the only one talking to them and asking them questions and listening to them.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful win-win, because you are getting good information that you can use to share with other people, but you're having that real estate conversation that you really wanted to have without having to be weird. Like, hi, are you thinking about buying or selling? Or how are you liking your home? Are you thinking of moving, right? Those are the awkward questions that sometimes people like, they feel weird about. I don't know. That's just my approach.
Nope.
Yeah. You know, when you're trying to bring clarity to your business, right? You're trying to figure out a direction, like what you're doing and where you're going. You have to be able to see where you're going. And part of the thing I said about like when you have coffee with people, you're sitting face to face, you see the emotional part of it. I remember I was a Ninja graduate, and that's a program at 5 Star Real Estate, a sales program that is just excellent.
Which,
and I remember,
we might bring in, again. Remind me to talk about that. So anyways, go ahead.
Okay, good. I like to hear that. But it was a Ninja podcast, because they started doing podcasts in the last couple of years. But I remember listening to a Ninja podcast, and one of the things they said was, again, I'm a face-to-face person. I love, you know, like watching Paul, you know, when he's talking, to see like how he's responding to things I say, or when I'm looking at Kim, when she's saying something, how Doug responds to what Kim says. Ninja, basically they said, you know what, take a mirror and put a mirror on your desk. So when you're making these phone calls, guess what? You're looking at yourself and you're watching your, you know, your little, hey, nice to chat with you. Hey, have you ever thought about, and you're sort of, now you feel connected emotionally and physically to the conversation because you can see yourself. For sure. So if you want to have clarity in your business and you're making these phone calls, and they're not fun, they're difficult, but you know what? Suddenly you're not sitting in a room by yourself because you're seeing yourself. So just an idea of something you could do, try putting a mirror on your desk when you're making these phone calls. So you don't feel like you're by yourself.
And in addition, there's also that concept where they say like, people can tell if you're smiling even across the phone.
Absolutely.
So if you're staring yourself in the mirror, Tracy, while you're on the phone and you're like, so have you guys, how's the market? I mean,
right.
I mean, it's going to be coming through in that call.
Right.
And so all of a sudden you're seeing yourself like, okay, I've got to liven this thing up a little bit. And they'll feel it on the other end on that call.
Yeah, because I bet you when Paul's talking to people on the phone, Paul's like, "Hey, yeah,
my hands are flying."
Yeah. So I mean, it sounds silly. I don't care if you have a window in front of you, you can see your reflection. But what you say and how you project it can be heard on the other side. So I think there's value. When I listened to that ninja thing that day, I didn't go get a mirror and put it on my desk, but I do think about it.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder.
Energy and enthusiasm. I got a listing the other day because somebody said, Doug, you've got more energy than the other people I've talked with. I want you. So isn't that crazy how that works? But it's simple. It's all about your attitude.
Yeah.
So other than phone calls, what are some, well, first off, Doug, Nick Sparks commented, he said one of the most valuable things he learned was about your morning phone call routine. Can you tell us what that is?
Religiously. And I feel like Tim Creech, when we talk about this, I'm kind of that Mike Ferry follower too, because that morning for me is super important. And again, every morning, if you're looking at my book, every morning from 9 to 10:30, that door is shut. No interruptions, no checking my voicemails, anything that could take you off your game. And I always say, folks, you guys are the rainmakers. This is the time to build your business. You're the only one that can do that. And again, this is where that prospecting time for me between 9 and 10:30 is super, super important. I might put a goal in my book to call 5 people, not leave messages, not send emails, all of the things that we all think we do when we quote unquote prospect. But the idea of literally getting on the phone, and I'm old fashioned. I love to hear people's voices. I love to hear, have this interactive. I'm like you, Tracy. I want to make sure that I'm really connecting with people on a one-on-one basis. And so that time for me is super important because out of that, my goal is always to have one appointment a day. One appointment a day. Now, it might not be for that day, but at least you're setting an appointment for out of those conversations. So between 9 and 10:30 in the morning, and I don't care when you do it. I love to do it in the morning because number one, I have more energy. I just do. I think many of us do, right?
Yep.
Same. And we're more focused on what our goal is for that day. So take that necessary time. I challenge you to do that. 9 to 10:30 in the morning. Get on the phone. You're going to catch a lot more people before their day actually begins. And again, make the necessary calls. And whether it's just to say, hey, it's been a long time since we've talked, if it's a past client, or if it's somebody that you're just meeting for the first time. Hey, I thought of you the other day. I really wanted to reach out, have this conversation. Again, I just wanted to see how you're doing. And again, people, if they don't know you're in real estate, it's an opportunity for you to tell them that. And then the good news is, as Paul just said, then the conversation starts about real estate, right? And again, sometimes you don't even control that. It's something someone says, gosh, Doug, tell me more.
So with the idea of having at least one or more conversations per day with different people about real estate, right? Yep. So I guess the other day, I think I was telling you guys this. The other day, I go to pick up a piece of tile for a tile sample for a floor. Yeah. And I walk in there and of course, COVID-19 stuff comes up and the masking rules, things like this. And I wasn't wearing a mask because I'm vaccinated and it said I just walked in. And we started joking about it. And next thing you know, we swing into like real estate. And I was like, oh yeah, that was interesting. We were unessential. Next thing you know, we're talking about the market. We're talking about supply. We're talking about what's happening with pricing. We're talking about millennial population. It's a big population that's eating up a lot. It swung into a full-fledged conversation about real estate. And I had the information to talk about the stats because they were like, what's going on? Is this a bubble? Yeah. Like people are curious.
They are.
Anyways, if I was a more active real estate agent, you better believe that those 2 people that I talked to at Beaver Tile on 44th Street are for sure going into my database because that was a new connection. I made a good impression on them. We talked for almost an hour about the market, and I could have totally swung that in. And maybe they're not buying or selling, but they're going to go, hey, this guy I just met today, great realtor. Here's his information. So these are the things that we have to be thinking about all the time. You are always on. You're always building your business with every interaction you have. Tracy, I guarantee, and Doug and Kim, that you've probably met people at restaurants, waiters and waitresses that you've worked with eventually. Where you get your dry cleaning done turns into clients.
I sold a condo after I was at a mattress store. I met a couple at a mattress store, and they're like, wow, like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, wow. They're like, hey, we're really thinking about buying something. So it was a good story. And they're my friends now. I love them.
Yeah. And then Tracy, it turns into referrals from that person. So these little, you wonder how someone does 100 transactions a year. It's because they meet someone at a mattress store, it turns into a client, and then their friends and family turn into your clients, and it keeps spider webbing like this.
Yeah.
You have to have that ability to see the big picture you're building here.
And ultimately what happens out of that, which is kind of fun, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but again, I had a call from somebody yesterday that said, I got your name from so-and-so at so-and-so. And again, someone else is doing the heavy lifting, right? They had a conversation with you. Great. You thought it went nowhere. You put them in your database. And then 3 weeks later, you get a call from somebody totally out of the blue that said, hey, I got your name from so-and-so. And so
yes,
that's where it all starts, man. So people are working for you.
That's like the best call. That is like the best call you can ever get, is someone who you've never met saying that I got your name from so-and-so, and they told you that you're the realtor I should be working with. That's like slam dunk.
Super cool. Super cool.
Yep. So I guess our encouragement today, guys, is to think about it honestly, about what you're doing every day. Don't be a secret real estate agent. Don't be, you gotta be thinking every day. You gotta wake up. And if you need something to do, if you don't know what to do, give any one of us a call and we'll give you 5 things you can do today.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to wake up every morning and going, actually, the best people would say you should know what you're doing the night before. You should be thinking about it tomorrow. You should already know what your plan is for tomorrow. But anyways, either way, the point is true. You've got to be thinking about the future. You've got to be thinking about where you're going and who you're going to have conversations with. You have to think about frequently talking to people, because this is a people business.
Yep.
As much time as we spend with contracts, as much time as we spend looking at houses online, all that's meaningless without people.
Yep.
I think it would be good just to challenge everyone, just be real simple to do. Like every day, a challenge, you get up and I'm gonna talk to 5 people today. Could be a mail person, could be my neighbor, could be when I'm at the grocery store, could be I pick up and call 3 relatives, just to say, hey, I'm just calling, just, just see how you're doing. I'm in real estate, just open up a conversation. Could be about them, could be about the market. But I think the key is just, since COVID has let up some restrictions, I've been out with like 2 lenders. I'm just like, hey, let's meet and have a cup of coffee. Let's just chat and just reconnect with people. For me, my prospecting, I do prospect some for sales, but my focus is broker support. So the other day I had a listing and it had 16 offers on it and one won. And I personally called all 15 agents. Why? Just to show I care, right? Because we're always connecting. Those are they're genuine friends of mine, but B, I always want to plant a really great seed about us, about 5-star. They are my market, right? And then yesterday I had a top agent from another company call me and she said, hey, what's going on with this and this? And I play nice in the sandbox with them because I'm always prospecting. The one thing that's been hard is to prospect during COVID, right? But we find a way. And so it feels so nice. Like people just want to talk.
Yeah.
How are things at 5-star?
And get lunch.
Yeah, and get lunch.
Gosh.
You guys are really growing. I'm like, yeah, we just penned in another new building. We're closing one on Friday. Just how are you doing? How are you managing your offers? So those are my clients. The agents that call me are my clients, my customers. I've had 4 call me this morning. I'm here to help and to build those connections. And it's just a different way. And here's one thing that I was sharing.
The principles remain true.
The principles remain true. And here's just a really quick thing that I did in January. So, I'm director of education. I teach agents all the time, one-on-one in class. You call me. And I thought, man, are you practicing what you preach? I said that to myself. Are you practicing or are you just telling them what to do? So I thought I'm going to do a little experiment. So end of January, I wrote up this really nice state of the market letter and I sent it out. And I'm like, that's not good enough. So then a month later, I started calling people. And simply it was like, hey, how are you doing? I know we haven't connected in a while. Just wanted to see how you're doing. Then I'd let it flip into the market because I know that those past clients are probably going to be sellers right now. So new listing and a buyer, right? So my approach might be a little different. The approach is the same, but it's a different client, right? Either way, all of a sudden I'm slammed with business.
But you had 2 big activities there. Number 1, you wrote the letter. Number 2, you followed up with a phone call. And number 3, each time you made a call. So call number 1, hey, how's it? Call number 2, hey, by the call number 3, you're building confidence as you're having this conversation, and it becomes easier and easier, bringing more clarity to the conversation and more clarity to your business.
And
So,
see what happened, just
go ahead.
because I intercepted 2 of them. One had made a $330,000 offer with another person, Zillow. I intercepted. They know me, like me, trust me. So it's even more testimony, just make the call. So they're under contract for a buy, under contract.
Yep.
The other one had bought 4 houses since I sold them their first one 20 years ago. They are now under contract. The other one is going on next week. So it's always about the flow. And then you say, man, who am I not calling? What am I missing? Right?
You start to realize just how many people you're probably letting slip through the cracks.
Yes.
It becomes apparent when you're like, wait a second, I made 15 calls and I got possibly 2 listings out of that.
Yes.
And you're going,
I should be
it's
making
an
more
eye opener.
calls.
It's an eye opener to how important it is, as you put it, Kim, with the ninja kind of that flow.
Yeah.
You're staying in that, because the deal is, it is not good enough to talk to someone once or twice a year.
Right.
That's just not good enough. And you know what? Your newsletter, if you're sending a generic newsletter, great. You land in their inbox once a month, once or whatever it is. But I mean, I can tell you right now, I get newsletters from State Farm. I get newsletters from the bank. I am not reading them.
Right. From my painter, from
Unless that person's writing a really, really good newsletter that makes me laugh or something, I'm probably not reading it. But so don't leave any stones unturned. Be proactive. Have a plan. And this is why we said bring your pen. And this is why we want you to bring a pen and paper. I'm hoping that you guys have just a couple of nuggets that you're going to take away from this, just little bits of inspiration to bring back into your personal businesses right now, to just kick these things into high gear. Now is the time. This is when things are happening. People are curious. I'm just telling you right now, everyone's ready for a real estate conversation with you, because everyone's going, why are there no houses? First off,
right.
it's just ready. People want to know. I'll give you an example of Dustin Anderson real quick. A few years ago, Dustin Anderson was brand new at 5-star. He's in the top 10 now. Great realtor, good friend. I had sold a bunch of houses for him personally, and then he became a realtor. But he was at this point where he was like, Paul, I'm like a few months in, things aren't going well for me. Like he's like, I just need this thing to work. You know, I sold my other business. You know, this has to work. And so we sat down at the Greenwell here in Grand Rapids, and we came up with a plan. And it was, he was going to basically call up 15 people out of his phone by 5 o'clock that day, or he was going to buy me a $25 gift card to Starbucks. And I was like, I'll take the deal. That sounds good to me. I don't lose anything here, right?
That's right.
Let's do this. So then I kind of checked in with him for the next couple hours. The first 3 calls he said were just terrible. It was like awkward. It was like, you know, you're like gagging your way through it. It's uncomfortable. And Tracy, as you said, like the second and the more calls you make, by the time he got to I think by the time he got to like call like 8 or 9, he had actually landed a client. And I think he landed one more client by the time I got to call 15. He did this in 2 hours. And earlier that day, he had no plan for what he was going to do that day, but he did these calls and it turned into 2 deals. And then all of a sudden your mind goes, like we just said, like it all becomes clear how this business works.
Yeah.
So I encourage you all.
That's a really good pivot back to the ninja. Tracy mentioned it and you wanted to come back.
Oh yeah. So I was talking with Greg yesterday, and we are considering bringing Ninja back in the fall. We need 50 people to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you are interested in Ninja, or that's something that you think you might want to do, raise your hand. I think it's around $795. 5-star does not make a penny on this, by the way. We have to fly someone in from Denver or from wherever they live now, California, and they come in and we rent out a huge building and we cater it, and it's 3 days, three full days, and they call it a ninja installation. And Tracy, you've taken it. Kim, you've sat through it. Doug, I don't think you've seen it yet, but you're probably naturally a ninja.
Well, I'm still ready to take it though, man. I'm excited.
I took it 2 Septembers ago, and so I was inspired with some goals. They take you through some goal setting and writing letters. And that year I had some extreme goals, and and I came pretty darn close to the things that I wrote down.
Wow.
So talk a lot about what you focus on expands, and it's more than just information. For lack of a better word, I want to say there's kind of an impartation. You get immersed in it for 3 days, and you just take on a lot of things that you see. One of our agents, Marissa Harrington, she's taken it 3-4 times, and she said there's so much there. Every year she just picks up one more new thing and then adds that to her business.
Yep.
What did you just say? What was that word you just said? I want to write that down.
What, immersed?
No, advertise, that wasn't that.
I don't know. Rewind the tape.
I like the.
I don't know.
I love the
Did you
word.
say advertation? What was the word? I don't
Implementation.
remember. Huh?
Implementation, implemented. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm 62. I've never
Installation.
heard that word before.
Installation.
No.
So
All right. Well, raise your hand if you're interested in getting to know, learn more about Ninja, guys. I think we've had over 100 people at 5-star go through the Ninja program. We've brought it in, I think, probably 4 or 5 times, but we need 50 people because it's not cheap and they won't show up unless we get those people there. But I can promise you right now, it's worth every penny of the $795. The people who have taken it, like you said, Marissa, Julie Reisner, some of these people have taken this thing 3 times.
Yeah.
And every time they learn.
And if you don't have systems,
Right.
they will help you put together an entire system of how to do your business and a system to take home with you that you can continue to follow up with. To
Yep.
help
And
you be successful.
it's built on principles like we talked about today.
Yep.
Talking to people. It's built upon that old-fashioned style, like let's talk type business. So, all right, guys, I think we've said quite a bit here, and hopefully you guys have written down a few things. And yeah, thanks, team.
Yeah, thank you.
All your
Anytime
information,
prospect people, it's fun. It's
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
Make
And
calls,
you can
get clarity.
And if you need help, call any one of us. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right.
Adios.
Yeah.
Adios.
Bye.